The record has been broken. A research team from Michigan has built the world's smallest computer. Its length is only 0.3 millimeters. A grain of rice looks huge by comparison. It was developed as part of a nerdy duel between engineers from IBM and the University of Michigan. Time and again, they outdo each other in building the world's smallest computer. But now the question is whether the newly developed chip counts as a full-fledged computer at all. The answer to this question and all other exciting information about the new revolutionary mini computer from Michigan now here on Clixoom Science Fiction. Welcome. Subscribe to the channel and never miss a video.
1, 2, 3.
From 2014 to early 2018, the University of Michigan held the world record for the smallest computer in the world. The so-called Michigan Micro Mote was only 2 by 2 by 4 millimeters small, but fully functional. Just again, to illustrate its tiny size, almost 150 of these mini computers would even actually fit into a thimble. Even if it wasn't connected to power, it could still store its programming and data. And the Michigan Micro Mote is regarded as a complete autonomous computer system, according to the press release of the University of Michigan. The computer system must be able to record the data that is entered. It must also have the ability to process and store them and make decisions about what to do next. The mini computer is built in stacked layers that can communicate with each other. In addition, it contains a solar cell that supplies it with 20 nanowatts and can run continuously just by capturing the ambient light. In standby mode, the device consumes about 1 million times less power than a conventional cell phone in standby mode, and the mini computer didn't have to wait long to be used in various practical areas. The Michigan research team was flooded with inquiries. Not only snail specialists were interested, but also medical experts. On the basis of the mini computer, for example, injectable sensor systems have already been developed that can transmit directly from the human body. But then, in February 2018, IBM responded. The diameter here, only 1 by 1 millimeter with several 100,000 transistors, i.e. electronic semiconductor elements. Really blatantly small, because the IBM mini calculator is smaller than a rough grain of salt. But its performance for this size is enormous and comparable to an old PC from the 90s. But hey, the desktop computers of those days were not only huge but also unwieldy and heavy. The developments over the years have been really impressive. According to the IBM developers, its production should cost less than 10 euros, and IBM has big plans for it. It could be integrated into many common consumer goods and thus make products counterfeit proof. But now the University of Michigan has fought back again. Their newly developed computer has an edge length of only 0.3 millimeters and looks like a dwarf in direct comparison with a grain of rice. Also integrated processors, photovoltaics, radio transmitters and receivers. It is able to convert temperatures into time intervals. By comparing it with a constant time interval, it can determine the temperature to with 0.1 degrees Celsius. And you can imagine it, a great application for the mini computer would be the medical field. It could, for example, measure temperature changes in cell groups and thus detect tumors. There are studies that suggest that cancer tumors have higher temperatures than regular tissue. Of course, all of this still has to be tested in detail, but back to the computer itself, because there's one curious thing to report. Both the IBM development and the new product from Michigan, experts are not sure whether these two mini computers could even be described as such. In contrast to the Michigan Micro Mote, they lose their previous programming and data as soon as they run out of power. David Blau, an expert in electrical engineering, comments, "We are not sure whether they can be called computers or not. It is rather a matter of interpretation as to whether they actually have the minimum functionality required." One thing, however, is certain. The duel between the two competitors in the USA is constantly giving rise to new developments and technologies that could sooner or later help us enormously in our everyday lives. You can find more groundbreaking micro-technology if you click here, namely our video on nanobots become reality, robots in your own body. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a new video. Stay tuned and see you soon.